Brandon, Mississippi is the kind of town where mornings begin quietly. Tree-lined streets and neighbors who wave to one another as they leave for work or school create a sense of familiarity and trust. It is a community built on the belief that the worst of the world exists somewhere else, far away, not here. Ashley Smiley was 40 years old, known for her dedication to both her profession and her family. She was a mathematics teacher admired for her clarity, her structure, and her firm but fair approach to students. She believed education was a path to opportunity and stability, and colleagues remembered her as someone who pushed students to reach their potential while never losing patience with those who struggled. At home, Ashley was equally devoted. Her daughter, Carly, was 14 years old and bright, though she had recently faced challenges both at school and at home. Teachers noticed behavioral issues. Reports suggested periods of defiance and disruption, though nothing had yet escalated to a level anyone could predict. Ashley believed that boundaries, rules, and structured guidance were key. To her, discipline was an act of care. A boundary drawn with love was a shield, not a punishment. The afternoon of March 19th, 2024 began like any other. Ashley prepared for the end of the school day and the return home. She had noticed her daughter acting differently in recent days, showing signs of withdrawal, tension, and disagreements over routine and responsibility. Concerned but calm, she did what any parent might do. She checked the home, attempting to address minor disturbances and bring Carly back within the structure that had always guided her. A conversation, a reminder, a moment intended to guide, not punish. But that evening, what unfolded would be recorded as one of the most tragic cases in recent memory. Inside the family home, the environment was private and familiar. No visitors were present, and no witnesses stood nearby. Just mother and daughter inside a house that, moments before, had seemed ordinary. Investigators later determined that a firearm legally owned by Ashley was accessible inside the home. It had been stored according to safety guidelines, yet remained within reach. When Ashley entered the living room that evening, multiple shots were fired. Security audio captured the sound of distress, and security video showed a scene that investigators described as chilling in its calmness. Carly did not attempt to flee. She did not call for help, and she remained inside the house, sending messages to a friend as events unfolded. Later that evening, Ashley's husband returned home, confronting a situation that no parent or spouse ever hopes to face. According to prosecutors, Carly attempted a second attack, which was prevented by her stepfather's intervention. Law enforcement was called immediately, and Carly was taken into custody within the hour. The investigation that followed was meticulous. Officers examined the home, reviewed security footage, and conducted interviews with neighbors and family friends. They sought to understand the circumstances that led to this point, to piece together the series of decisions and actions that had escalated into tragedy. Court proceedings would later reveal a battle between science, psychology, and accountability. Experts discussed adolescent brain development, explaining how decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation continue to develop well into the teenage years. Medication changes, mental health diagnoses, and environmental factors were analyzed and debated. The defense argued that Carly's age and mental state reduced her capacity to fully understand the consequences of her actions. The prosecution argued the opposite, that her actions were deliberate, aware, and premeditated. In the courtroom, every witness, every piece of evidence, and every expert opinion became part of the story. The jury listened intently, weighing arguments and considering human and psychological dimensions. After careful deliberation, their verdict was unanimous. Carly was found guilty of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and evidence tampering. The sentence was life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. She was 15 years old. Ashley Smiley, A woman devoted to her students, her family, and her community never made it home. Her life ended where she had always believed her daughter would be safest, within the walls of her own home. But this case is not only about loss. It is about adolescence, mental health, and responsibility. It forces communities, schools, and families to ask difficult questions. How do we identify warning signs before it is too late? How can intervention be both compassionate and effective? What role does environment, guidance, and social support play in shaping the decisions of a young person? Experts continue to study cases like these, analyzing patterns to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The law wrestles with accountability, rehabilitation, and age-appropriate sentencing. Communities struggle with grief, understanding, and accepting that such events can occur anywhere, even in places that feel safest. Brandon, Mississippi continues to remember. The Smiley family story is retold not to shock, but to educate, to examine, and to honor a life lost. Ashley Smiley's story is one of love, dedication, and loss. Carly's story is one of a life altered forever by decisions that no child or parent should ever face. Together, they form a case that challenges assumptions, teaches difficult lessons, and reminds us all of the fragility of trust, safety, and family. This is Case 1, a story of Brandon, Mississippi, a story of a mother, a story of a child, a story that reminds us that sometimes danger does not announce itself, sometimes it waits in silence, and sometimes it grows inside the home we believe to be safest.